Hello there, booktube. This is Aaron from Aaron Read a Book, or Aaron Read a Book. I completely forgot my own channel name there. I'm doing a tag. Which tag is it? It's the mid-year Freakout Tag, the booktube classic. Didn't do one yesterday, but then I really felt like doing the tag on a Wednesday, so I'm doing a Wednesday tag. Yeah, let's get on with the prompts. Prompt number one: the best book you've read so far. I don't think I'm having as good a year as I did last year, even though I'm reading more than I did last year. But I will pick a fiction and a non-fiction. So for the fiction, I'm going to go with I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman, which I read quite recently, and I did a sort of rave review on one of my Friday reads. It's about a girl and a bunch of women locked in a bunker, and they don't even know where they are, and some mysterious men have been guarding them for years and years and years, and they can't even really remember how they got to the bunker. And then one day an alarm goes off and the men run away, and one of them leaves the key in the door. And then I won't go on any further. It's a genius. It's a work of genius. I don't understand why it wasn't known as a work of genius until the last couple of years, but it is. And definitely check it out if you've got any interest in sort of science fiction, books about friendship, books about women. It's brilliant. The non-fiction, I'm going for another book about some women, but these are funny women, and that is Ons and Rebels by Jessica Mitford. I had already read two Nancy Mitford books, including. I don't know. Words are not working for me today. I shouldn't be filming. Including The Pursuit of Love, which is a fictionalized version of the Mitfords' upbringing. This is a non-fictionalized version of the Mitford sisters' upbringing, and then it goes further on into Jessica Mitford's later life. They were a very strange and isolated family who made their own fun and became very peculiar. And in later life, one of them becomes married to Oswald Mosley, the leader of the British Union of Fascists. Jessica becomes married to a communist and goes to the Spanish Civil War and America and other places. Nancy's the author. I forget the name of the other one, but she is like takes over that big house that I can't remember the name of. I'll put up the name maybe if I can be bothered. But yeah, they're very varied sisters, very funny people though, and you get quite a lot of real world history in this as well. And I've got their letters. I really want to read their letters. Okay, that's quite a lot of time on question one, as always. Two, the best sequel you've read so far. I could have chosen a number of things for this, but I'm going with this one because it's funny, because I didn't read the first one. So this is Paladin of Souls by Lois McMaster Bujold, and this is the second book in a series. I don't even know what the series is called. Maybe the Chalion series. But I was basically told that you don't have to read the first book, but it helps, and I wanted to read this because it won both the Hugo, the Nebula, and the Locus Award, and I'm trying to read all the books that have won the Hugo and the Nebula together. This was really good, really good. Sort of fantasy, with castles and princesses and things, but really well done and quite adult version of it, where the girl that you follow on the quest is like in her 40s, But I do wish I'd read the first one. I didn't want to because this is super thick as well, and I was like, oh, I just want to read the one that won the awards. But I am going to go back and read the first one because I know I've seen people like read Becca and Dear at Novel Idea who love the first one, so I need to try that one as well. Number 3, new release you haven't read but want to. I don't really buy very many new releases. I bought this one because I was in my hometown and I wanted to support my hometown bookshop. It also fits in with the Historifon quarter that we're just about to enter, or we've just entered, sorry, because it's about the East India Company. Also, kind of would be, I think it would work for Jane Austen July's sort of non-fiction about the time of Jane Austen, but I've read a couple of David Howarth books before, and they were really good and like thrilling, quite narrative non-fiction. So, but this is a big chunker as well, so I'll have to get started on this at some point. Yeah, I mean I love naval things, so this is quite cool. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This is kind of aimed at people that read a lot of new releases, but I actually do have 2. I have The Trouble of Miss Montgomery Hurst by Katie, who's from Books and Things. That's coming out, I think, very soon, in a week or 2. I did pre-order that ages ago, so I've got that coming in the post as soon as it's released. And one that I haven't pre-ordered yet, but I will do as soon as I can, and that is Garbology. And I don't want the Kindle version, I want the paper version, which is a book that Criminoli and Troy Tradup put together for Garb August, and it's got loads of booktubers short stories in it about, and it's all trashy garbage stuff, so I'll pre-order that as soon as the paperback version goes on sale. You can pre-order the Kindle version already. Biggest disappointment, I think probably Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I pretty enjoyed I enjoyed the two Taylor Jenkins Reid books I'd read before, which was Daisy Jones and the Six, and the one about the woman in Hollywood who had lots of wives. I can't remember what it's called. I kind of enjoyed those, but I could see I knew they weren't good books. They were like structurally poor, didn't properly resolve, but they were fun because of the setting and stuff. Carrie Soto is Back was focused on 90s tennis. The setting didn't work at all, and it was just bad. It didn't have any of the enjoyableness of the other two. So it might be my last dance with Taylor Jenkins Reid. Maybe something else she writes will have such a tempting setting, because you can fly through them. They're quite easy. Also listen to that on audiobook. Biggest surprise, I'm going to go with an author that I'd read the first book in the series, and I wasn't really blown away with it, and I thought, oh, why is this person so revered? And then I skipped ahead a couple because they're not really, you don't really have to read in the order, and it was just an unbelievably good book, and that is The Spy Who Came In From the Cold by Jean le Carré. This is just like the perfect spy novel. I think it's just masterfully done. So, and I was surprised because I wasn't that like blown away by the first one. Like, I thought felt realistic, the first one, but everyone says the first one actually is more of a sort of thriller than a spy book, so, or a murder mystery sort of thing, and I just didn't think it really worked that well. But this is like utterly brilliant. It's very tight story, very well done. What are we up to? Favourite new author, debut or new to you? I'm going to go, I think it was a debut, and is new to me in that I've never read one of his books before, but I knew who he was and had watched him on TV a lot, and that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I could have gone with a lot of things with new to me author, because I read a lot of new to me ones, but this one I've read the first one and I'm in the middle of the second one, so I feel like if they're a favourite new author, I need to have read more than one book by them, and I'm on the second one. But yeah, Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club, also quite surprising to me because it's so massively successful that you kind of think something's going to be a bit naff when it's that successful, but it's really fun, and lives up to its sort of influences in Agatha Christie and stuff. I shouldn't have been that surprised because he loves like popular TV, and he's created these great popular TV shows, so he knows how to write a popular novel that's sort of compelling. Just great characters as well. The actual mysteries themselves, or the mystery in the first one, didn't blow me away, but the characters are so good, don't really care. Newest fictional crush, everyone's favourite question in this tag. I'm going to go with Lily Dale from The Small House at Allington. This is the penultimate novel in the Barchester Chronicles. Lily Dale is like one of the main characters and the main love interest in this. She's actually got a couple of suitors. I won't go into any details, but she's an unconventional sort of love interest. Very quirky and fun, but also sort of well-held convictions and a strong character, and doesn't always do what you as the reader want her to do, but you have to respect her for that. Where are we up to? Newest favourite character. I'm going to go for a character in the book that I'm reading right now because I'm lazy, and that is, it could be a number of them, but I'm going to go with Penelope Keeling, who's the mother character in the novel The Shell Seekers by Rosamund Pilcher. And I'm really enjoying this book. It reminds me a bit of the Catholic Chronicles in that it's a big, grand family book that carries multiple perspectives, but it's much smaller in scale. And it's set in the 80s, but it jumps back in time to like the Second World War and other times. But yeah, the family's kind of got a mixture of different characters, like but the mother, I think, is the most likeable. I also really like her mother, who's French, but they're just very chilled people who just like gardening and having a joke around. Then it's not as light as I thought it was going to be, though. I thought it was going to be a very, like, because it's a very sort of village greeny novel, but it's got some undertones to it. But yeah, I want to go with Penelope Keeling, The Shell Seekers, and I do want to read more Rosamund Pilcher after I finish that one. Ooh, knocking things over. Next question. Oh, it's the last question. Book that made you cry, the saddest book you've read. I think They Who Have Never Known Men made me cry, but I'm not going to pick that one because I've already picked it for one question. But I'm going to go with The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stephen Ross, which I've picked in loads of tags, but it's very fitting, which is a post-apocalyptic novel about a son and a mother in rural Wales in the post-apocalypse. I won't go into any details about why it made me cry, but I thought it was meant to be like a light. I read a review and or something. I saw a bit of a review, and because it's kind of rural and there's bits of farming and stuff in there, I thought it was going to be quite a kind of pastoral sort of quite relaxing post-apocalyptic fiction, which it is in some ways, but there are unbelievably sad parts in it as well. So We'll go with that one. And that's the mid-year book, and then the mid-year Freakout book tag, or tag, I don't know, for another year done anyway. Let me know if you've read any of these books, booktube, especially if you've read Rosamund Pilcher books. I know Gina has, but I don't know if anyone else has. Yeah, have a good one, booktube. Bye.